What's up, Comic Comrades? Today we'll be talking about all the confirmed villains that are going to appear in Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Stick around until the end and comment down below your most anticipated villain. Don't forget to click that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Number 7. Namor. Marvel Studios is famous for keeping its upcoming storylines under lock and key. This secrecy goes double for the plot of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which has been identified as the most highly anticipated film of 2022. In addition to featuring the return of Princess Shuri, Okoye, Nakia, and M'Baku, the new Marvel sequel may include a previously unseen comic book character, Namor the Submariner, the first live-action iteration of the comic book anti-hero. And it is not just him that's going to play a role, but his cousin Namora and the Atlantean warlord Atuma will allegedly be involved in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Created in 1939 by Bill Everett, Namor is the son of a human sea captain, Leonard Mackenzie, and Princess Fen of Atlantis, an undersea city that is home to a race of aquatic humanoids. He has several superhuman abilities, including super strength, super speed, and the ability to survive underwater. Namor has acted as both a villain and an anti-hero throughout his appearances in the comics, leading to encounters with the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and members of the Avengers like Iron Man and Captain America. So what does this character have to do with Black Panther and Wakanda? Quite a bit, actually. In one of the Black Panther comic book storylines, Namor flooded Wakanda using the Phoenix Force, and ultimately ignited an ongoing rivalry with T'Challa. The Wakandan prince will not be appearing in the big screen sequel due to Chadwick Boseman's untimely passing, but it is possible that a film version of the Atlantean could butt heads with Shuri and the rest of the returning characters. Namor turning up in Wakanda Forever will probably set up a future franchise, just like the introduction of Boseman's character in Captain America: Civil War did for his own film series. Number 6. Gargantus. The trailer of Multiverse of Madness revealed a lot of new details, but one that caught the eye of many was Doctor Strange fighting a one-eyed tentacle monster in the streets of New York. Part of a monster with similarly colored tentacles was seen in 2 episodes of What If, including one focused on Doctor Strange, hinting that it could be the same foe from the animated series. The character was rumored to be Shuma Gorath, however a LEGO set identified it as Gargantus. The creature first appeared in Submariner issue 13 in 1969 and has close ties to Atlantis and Namor. Simply put, Gargantus is a sea creature that dwells in the underwater continent of Lemuria. The creature's second appearance, meanwhile, came during a storyline in which Jean Grey is kidnapped by deviant Lemurian villain Gaur. Gargantus' design in the artwork looks closer to Shuma Gorath, suggesting Marvel might be mixing the 2 characters together, similarly to how Ivan Vanko in Iron Man 2 drew elements from both Whiplash and Crimson Dynamo. They could be using the character name Gargantus, but keeping the backstory of Shuma Gorath as a Lord of Chaos and an enemy of Doctor Strange. Number 5. Titania. Since her inception, Marvel Comics' Titania has established herself as one of the strongest nemesis of the superheroine She-Hulk. Confirmed to be making her live-action debut in the Disney Plus She-Hulk series, portrayed by Jamila Jamil, Titania has a long and complicated comic book history for the show to pull from. While the shy Mary McFerrin may seem like a generic super-strong supervillain on the surface, Titania has gradually evolved from a B-list antagonist into a nuanced comic book character with over 30 years of Marvel Comics history behind her. 1984's Secret Wars was the first ever official Marvel crossover series published. The landmark story pitted the company's greatest heroes and villains against one another and was a milestone building block towards the massive Marvel crossover series that have since become classics of modern superhero comics. As the de facto leader of Marvel's villains, Dr. Doom was willing to pull out all stops to ensure victory, including empowering previously unknown characters. The small town in which Mary McFerrin had resided was one of the many earthly terrains composited into the Beyonders battle world during this event. And after finding the wayward teen, Doom was more than obliged to grant her desire for power. With alien technologies, Doom transformed McFerrin into the supervillain Titania in the 3rd issue of the series. Number 4. Arthur Harrow. When Ethan Hawke was cast as an undisclosed role in Moon Knight, there was a lot of speculation on who he was going to play, with some theorizing it could be a new character. It's now confirmed that Hawke is playing Arthur Harrow, a character from Marvel Comics who is a doctor with a dark past. Harrow was a selected candidate for the Nobel Prize in Medicine thanks to his work in the field of pain theory, but a fellow doctor, Victoria Grail, became suspicious of his work. Harrow's papers show that he carried out limited research on animals, which Grail found suspicious as his work advanced a lot. She traced documents that related secret experiments by scientists in Auschwitz-Birkenau back to Harrow and raised an objection to his nomination. These documents were ordered to be destroyed by the Nuremberg Tribunal, but mysteriously disappeared, and the think tank organization known as Omnium was behind it. Grail was convinced that Harrow was continuing those experiments in Mexico, where he was supposedly researching the jaguar and armadillo. So she followed him there, and unfortunately ended up becoming one of his subjects. Although the first Moon Knight trailer revealed key details about Mark Spector's story, it still left a lot of things a mystery, including Arthur Harrow's role. Hawk had previously shared that his character is inspired by David Koresh, the infamous cult leader of the Branch Davidians who died during the Waco siege along with many of his followers. The Moon Knight trailer showed Arthur Harrow as a cult leader, with quick looks at his followers bowing to him and Mark Spector right in the middle of the crowd, confused. In a voiceover, Harrow talks to Mark and tells him it must be very difficult for him with the voices in his head, that there is chaos in him and he should embrace it. Harrow then might be trying to recruit Mark/Steven to take advantage of his mental issues, but that might not go as he expects. Number 3. Adam Warlock. A post-credit scene in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 laid the groundwork for the MCU's Adam Warlock by revealing his cocoon. Based on comments from Aisha, their plans for Adam include getting revenge on the Guardians. To many, this felt like a clear setup for an Adam Warlock story in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but the movie's director James Gunn pushed back on this, arguing that the point was only to ensure that his debut would happen eventually. Now, it's been confirmed that the Golden Gladiator is indeed joining the MCU. Played by Will Poulter, Adam Warlock will appear in some capacity in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Whether he will be a villain or not is not yet clear, but fans of the comics know that Adam Warlock is walking a dark path. On page, he has come into contact with the Universal Church of Truth, an intergalactic cult led by the madman called Magnus. To stop Magnus, Warlock forges an alliance with the Mad Titan Thanos and Gamora. Then, Warlock learns the ugly truth. He himself is Magnus, but from the future, a version of himself driven mad by the overuse of the Soul Stone. There haven't been any hints of Magnus showing up in the MCU yet, but it is possible the next movie will start laying the breadcrumbs for his appearance. If Adam becomes a major player, Magnus could show up as a major threat. Number 2. Kang. Loki may have heralded the arrival of Kang the Conqueror in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but we the viewers have yet to meet the man himself, the kooky creator of the Time Variance Authority. The conquering Kang isn't actually set to appear in a Marvel title until 2023's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Time travel is a tricky business, and unfortunately that means many time-traveling characters have complex backstories. In the comics, Kang the Conqueror started out as Nathaniel Richards, an ancestor of Reed Richards and Sue Storm of the Fantastic Four. He was born in the 30th century, a time when the world was consumed with violence, and Kang brought about peace by conquering the planet. When he gained access to a time machine, he began to expand his conquest throughout history, frequently taking other identities such as Immortus, the Scarlet Centurion, or Pharaoh Ramatut. Kang's time travel essentially turns him into a complex space-time event in his own right, and the timelines have changed around him many times. He cares little for the laws of time and has frequently interacted with his own personal history. On one occasion, this even went badly wrong, because his teenage self was appalled at his future and attempted to erase it by traveling back in time and founding the Young Avengers as Iron Lad. He even went as far as dating Skull Lang's daughter, but I digress. All the different identities of Kang, Immortus, Ramatut, and so on have splintered off and become almost different beings in their own right. It's not unusual for a Kang story to see two versions of the time traveler going up against one another. Number 1. Gore the God Butcher. Thor: Love and Thunder will introduce viewers to Gore the God Butcher, a big villain in Thor's comic book history who will be played by Christian Bale. Although a first official look at the movie hasn't been released yet, set photos showed a bit of what Bale will look like as Gore. The God Butcher comes from a planet where his people did everything in their power to survive the harsh conditions, and so prayed to the gods. But when his family died, Gore began to question his faith and took it out on the gods. This made him an outcast, and he later learned that gods do exist when he saw a battle between two of them, one wielding a weapon which turned out to be the all-black Necrosword, which bonded with Gore and helped him kill one of the gods. And the rest is history. His quest to kill every god out there began, earning him the name the God Butcher. Gore's appearance is as intimidating as his actions, and judging by the set photos from Thor: Love and Thunder, Christian Bale will be sporting a look very similar to one in the comics. The pictures show Bale in an off-white costume and makeup, but as they were taken from a distance, it's hard to see smaller details. Of course, there surely is more work to be done on his physical appearance in post-production, especially as Gore has a very peculiar structure. But so far, Bale's costume looks as comic accurate as it can get without compromising the MCU's realistic style. In the source material, Gore is also grey and wears a black cape with a hood, but what makes him stand out is his bright white eyes and a flat nose that could even be compared to that of Lord Voldemort from the Harry Potter saga. As I said, Bale's makeup and costume appear to lack the black details, which raises questions as to whether the black detailing on his body will be added in post-production, or will it come once he bonds with the Necro Sword in the movie. Whatever the case and however Gore ends up being represented on screen, the MCU storyline will inevitably lead to an initial clash between the God Butcher and Thor. So, how do you like those villains? Which one was your favorite, and what other ones would you like to see? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Peace out!